Goodbye. 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 Hello. 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 Okay. I just like to talk about this work while it's fresh. So I've been dealing with chronic health issues since I got COVID in October 2023. After that, I developed some debilitating GI issues that then later shifted into what I was diagnosed for, which is ME/CFS, chronic fatigue syndrome, which is like can't even move your body. And then I also have some other comorbidities, ME/CFS, mast cell activation syndrome, and POTS. So it was like, I was one person before. I just like did stuff all the time. Like I had the most densely packed schedule. I drank multiple quad shot lattes in a day. I did 1,000 things. Like I just was go, 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 which not sure if that's healthy or not, but that was my schedule. And then it was like somebody flipped a switch. I had COVID and I woke up with like a whole new body. I lost like 65 pounds very fast. It was very intense. And I've had to really learn how to be this new person in this new body, which is I have to move significantly slower and I have to be really strategic and only do small amounts of tasks per day to not crash my body, which can make me worse. So I went from this like 100 miles an hour, just super, probably too busy person, which is one perspective, one way to tackle life, to now this super slow, steady, intentional, paced, tons of sleep person, which is another perspective. Neither perspective is necessarily right or wrong. They're just like two different ways to approach life. But it's been weird to try to learn how to be a completely new person, and what does that mean? Like, how do I live my best sick girl life? How do I still be an artist under these circumstances? So this past year, I've been trying to find ways to like still be an artist. I've thought, like, I've done a lot of 2D work, like focused on my fabric print stuff because I can do that from bed. And I've been wanting to get back into subtle performing. I was going to do some sketches and things, and I was interested in just collaborating with the Fluxus workbook, which is one of my favorite ways to get my feet wet with performing. So my friend BowTy and I had been having a conversation, and I wrote down some of my favorite words because I read a lot. That's how I kind of cope with all of my difficult physical symptoms. And Beau was like, oh, when one of these words that you've written down comes up, then maybe you can use that as a cue to do a Fluxus performance. Because I felt like Fluxus performances can't really be planned. They have to just happen. So the words I picked were whittle. That's one of my favorite words to read in a book. Peak, subterfuge, and guffaw. Those are some of my favorite words to come across in a book. And I'm not sure which word came up first, but so I put all my favorite Fluxus prompts, was probably around like 60 or 70, in an album on my phone. So when that word came up, I just like randomly scrolled on my phone and just picked one. And the prompt that came up was to say goodbye to a balloon, which felt really perfect for me because I had these leftover big balloons from my 40th birthday party that we had done this big confetti art show for my birthday. And I felt like that was incredible symbolism because your 40th birthday is such a weird birthday because you're kind of saying goodbye to your youth and you're moving into middle age and you're sort of choosing to be a whole new person anyway. So I just had started to I just move so much slower now, and I can't just like before I probably would have come up with this performance and done it that same day, but I can't work like that anymore. I have to do slow and steady steps. So I just started thinking about this balloon performance. And I really wanted the balloon to be the dominant factor here. So I wanted to order this nude bodysuit so that I could just, be saying goodbye to this balloon. But the more I thought about it and started to kind of tweak this, and then out of nowhere, around that same time, my therapist, who's been working with me on managing chronic, the mental game of managing chronic health issues, she really wanted me to write a goodbye letter to my past self, the self I used to be before I got chronic illness. And I was like, wow, that's so weird, because I was just mentally developing this performance where I was going to say goodbye to a balloon, which is sort of like saying goodbye to this younger version of myself. So I kind of wanted to merge all that together. So this performance became this letter to my past self, and also trying to say goodbye to that past self, and also saying goodbye to this balloon and saying goodbye to this younger self. So, but I also wanted it to be a little bit of a caterpillar situation where, yes, I'm saying goodbye to this old self, but there's still a lot of potential of what is the new self. And I really love alicorns, so both of these items were gifted to me, again, around the same time that I was developing this piece, so it all kind of felt like the puzzle pieces were coming together. So I've been working on this project called Shape Languages since 2020, And these are foundations, and it's a system of visual and emotional and conceptual choices that I make with other people to sort of acknowledge their presence in my work and spend time with them in my work and challenge my work to become something that I wouldn't have done on my own. And this book has all of my shape languages in there, the book that's on this stand here. So anytime I'm doing a piece, I'm always like, which languages am I able to bring into this piece? So the biggest collaboration language in this piece is my language with future Lindsay. She's that's my future self. It's pretty funny to have a collaboration language with your future self. So I feel like any work about my health and any work about growing and being a different person or a better person, I feel like I always have to bring her into it. So she's sort of the dominant shape language in this piece. I also tried to think about my collaboration language with my friend Vesper, who's the language of chance. That's why I was closing my eyes to pick a page in the book. I was also thinking about my language with poems. They have an enter and exit. Theirs is a language of movement. And also there was have moments of stillness, which is incredibly hard for me, but I tried to work a few in there. But also there's a lot of visual shape languages in this book, and so that's what I was cutting from the balloon, because any chance I can to meditate on those shapes. And every time I would cut them out, they looked pretty close, but they didn't look exact. And I love when that happens, when the same shape takes on many forms. And then for the end of the balloon, I've also, as much as I love these strategic shape languages, which I constantly use in my work to get to know these shapes and spend time with those collaborators internally, and also just to let the shapes evolve, but I also love negative space. So I really wanted to let the end of the balloon be whatever shape it needed to be. So I think the last 3 shapes were a negative space. But so it was also really important to me to stick them to my face with this roll of iridescent sticker paper, which I use on my face every day for a wearable project right now. I've been working with the intersection between reflective surfaces and my vibrant colors and fabric prints. I've been doing that for 2 years now, maybe coming to an end soon. But so not only is it a material I'm really familiar with because I wear it every day on my face, I also knew it wasn't going to be very sticky, and that sounds like a strange choice, but I was thinking about how hard it is to say goodbye to these other versions of yourself that maybe you weren't even totally done with, but life kind of forced them away. And so the fact that I had to keep putting them back on, I feel like that was a big metaphor for me about maybe some days you're pretty good at saying goodbye and moving on to your new self, and some days you're not, and it's a struggle, and you're trying to figure out how to let go. And so that tension of constantly having to, chronic illness is a mental game, so just constantly having to work through it. But I wanted to end with the person that I want to be, or that I'm trying to be, the person that I'm trying to evolve into, which is somebody that still lives and still finds a way to make work and still finds a way to be interesting and have interesting days under these completely new parameters and limitations where I can't do as much in the day, and I spend a lot of time laying down or sitting down, which that was a big choice too, because I have orthostatic intolerance, so I can't stand for very long, and laying down actually soothes me the most. So that was about sort of my new body, of doing these different levels of sitting down and then ending laying down, that I can still be a cool person even though I'm laying down. So yeah, sort of finding ways to love yourself under new circumstances. So I wanted to end as sort of my version of an alicorn, which is it is my favorite mythical creature, which is a unicorn with wings. So I wanted to sort of symbolize that I was saying goodbye to this old self, but I'm still becoming a unicorn with wings, just maybe in a different way than I initially had planned to get there. So yeah, I like to walk through all that while it's fresh, and in case anybody watched this performance and wanted to know what it was about, now you know. Thanks for watching.